Imagine waking up to headlines announcing mass deportations across the globe. In the United States, President Donald Trump has declared a national emergency at the southern border, deploying troops and initiating large-scale deportation operations. Executive orders have been signed to end birthright citizenship and intensify immigration enforcement. But the U.S. isn't alone. Around the world, nations are tightening their borders and expelling immigrants in unprecedented numbers. Today, we delve into the top 10 countries enforcing mass deportations in 2025 and uncover the reasons behind these drastic measures. Country number 1, United States. The United States has always been a hotspot for immigrants seeking better opportunities. But in 2025, the country is witnessing one of the most aggressive immigration crackdowns in its history. Under President Donald Trump's administration, new policies have taken effect, intensifying deportation efforts and tightening border security. A key component of this strategy includes the deployment of military personnel to the southern border, reinforcing barriers, and conducting large-scale deportation operations targeting undocumented immigrants. The administration has also introduced stricter visa regulations, making it significantly harder for foreign workers and asylum seekers to stay in the country. These measures are part of a broader push to curb illegal immigration and reassert national sovereignty over border control. One of the most controversial moves has been the administration's attempt to end birthright citizenship, a policy that has been in place for over a century under the 14th Amendment. This change, if fully implemented, would mean that children born to non-citizen parents on U.S. soil would no longer automatically receive citizenship. While legal battles are still underway, the move has sparked national debates, with immigration advocates calling it unconstitutional and a direct attack on immigrant families. At the same time, federal agencies have ramped up workplace raids, detaining undocumented workers in industries ranging from agriculture to construction. The heightened enforcement has led to widespread fear among immigrant communities, with many seeking legal assistance to avoid deportation. Beyond the legal and political battles, the economic and social consequences of these policies are beginning to emerge. Industries that rely heavily on immigrant labor, such as farming and hospitality, are experiencing severe worker shortages, pushing businesses to reconsider their operations. Meanwhile, human rights organizations and activists continue to challenge these actions in court, arguing that they violate international agreements and fundamental human rights. As deportations increase and immigration policies become more restrictive, the United States remains deeply divided on how to balance national security with its long-standing identity as a land of opportunity. With the 2026 elections on the horizon, immigration policy is expected to be a key issue that will shape the country's future. Country number 2, Germany. For years, Germany stood as the beacon of hope for refugees, particularly during the 2015 migration crisis when it welcomed over 1 million asylum seekers. However, in 2025, the nation's stance on immigration has taken a sharp turn. Under mounting political pressure and growing security concerns, the German government has reintroduced strict border controls, making it significantly harder for undocumented migrants to enter the country. One of the most controversial moves has been the acceleration of deportations, particularly targeting Afghan refugees and asylum seekers whose applications have been denied. The official justification for this policy shift is based on national security risks and difficulties in integrating newcomers into the German workforce and society. While some political leaders argue that these actions are necessary to maintain order and stability, humanitarian organizations strongly oppose them, warning that deporting vulnerable individuals to unstable regions puts lives at risk. This policy change has not only stirred tensions within Germany, but has also ignited debates across the European Union. Neighboring countries question whether Germany's move signals a broader shift in Europe's immigration approach, potentially undermining the principles of the EU's refugee protection framework. Meanwhile, public opinion remains deeply divided. Some citizens support stricter immigration measures, believing they will ease economic burdens and enhance security, while others criticize the government for abandoning its humanitarian responsibilities. With elections on the horizon and far-right movements gaining momentum, Germany's handling of immigration will likely remain a defining issue, shaping both domestic politics and its role within the European Union in the years to come. Country number 3, France. In 2025, France is experiencing a significant shift in its approach to immigration, driven by a surge in public concern over security and social cohesion. The government has responded by proposing stricter immigration laws, aiming to extend detention periods for migrants in irregular situations and limit regularization opportunities. These measures are designed to address the growing anti-immigration sentiment among the populace. A focal point of this policy shift is the increase in deportations, particularly targeting individuals without legal status and those deemed threats to public order. Interior Minister Bruno Retailleau has been a prominent figure in advocating for these changes, emphasizing the need to regain control over national borders and ensure public safety. However, his statements have sparked controversy, with critics arguing that such policies may infringe on human rights and undermine France's humanitarian commitments. The government's approach has ignited intense debates within the European Union regarding the balance between humanitarian obligations and national security. Human rights organizations have voiced strong opposition, warning that the new measures could lead to violations of international law and the erosion of asylum seekers' rights. As France tightens its immigration policies, it finds itself at a critical juncture, striving to reconcile domestic concerns with its long-standing values of liberty, equality, and fraternity. Number 4. Italy. In recent years, Italy has adopted a more stringent approach to immigration, focusing on reducing arrivals and increasing deportations. A key component of this strategy is the establishment of agreements with countries like Albania to process asylum seekers outside of Europe. This initiative aims to deter illegal crossings and expedite deportations, reflecting Italy's efforts to manage migration flows and address domestic political pressures. The Italian government has also introduced new migration rules aimed at tackling irregular immigration while expanding legal pathways for non-EU workers. These measures include stricter controls and expanded work visas, demonstrating a dual approach of enforcement and facilitation. The government asserts that these policies are necessary to maintain order and security, while also addressing labor market needs. However, these policies have faced criticism from human rights organizations and political opponents, who argue that they may violate international law and undermine the rights of asylum seekers. Legal challenges have been mounted against the transfer of migrants to Albania, with concerns about the legality and humanity of fast-track procedures for asylum seekers from unsafe countries. Despite these challenges, the Italian government remains committed to its firm stance on immigration, reflecting broader debates within the European Union about the balance between security and humanitarian obligations. Number 5. Sweden. In response to rising anti-immigration sentiment and significant political shifts, Sweden has enacted stricter immigration policies aimed at managing integration challenges and addressing public concerns. The government has increased financial incentives for voluntary returns, encouraging individuals without legal residency to leave the country. Additionally, there has been a concerted effort to expedite the deportation of those residing in Sweden illegally, particularly focusing on individuals whose asylum applications have been denied. These measures are part of a broader strategy to maintain social cohesion and ensure the integrity of Sweden's immigration system. The government emphasizes the importance of upholding the rule of law and addressing the challenges associated with integrating newcomers into Swedish society. By tightening immigration policies, Sweden aims to balance its humanitarian commitments with the need to address public concerns over security and social welfare. However, these policy shifts have sparked debate within Sweden and across the European Union. Critics argue that the stricter measures may undermine Sweden's reputation as a humanitarian leader and could lead to social tensions. Human rights organizations have expressed concern that the expedited deportations and increased pressure for voluntary returns may violate individuals' rights and fail to consider the complexities of each case. As Sweden navigates these challenges, it continues to grapple with finding a balance between maintaining social cohesion and honoring its long-standing commitment to humanitarian principles. Number 6. United Kingdom. In the aftermath of Brexit, the United Kingdom has taken significant steps to strengthen its immigration enforcement. The government has implemented stricter visa regulations, particularly targeting individuals who overstay their visas and those involved in criminal activities. This approach aims to regain control over national borders and address public concerns about immigration. In January 2025, the UK introduced new laws to combat people smuggling, enhancing efforts against illegal migration and bolstering border security. Under these laws, suspected people smugglers face travel bans, social media restrictions, and phone usage limits to help dismantle criminal immigration networks. Interior Minister Yvette Cooper emphasized the need for stronger law enforcement to address this issue, in line with the government's recently introduced Plan for Change. The government has also announced plans to implement a new electronic travel authorization, ETA system, effective January 8, 2025, for travelers from the US, Canada, and many non-European countries. This requirement will expand to most European countries by April 2, 2025. The ETA system is designed to enhance border security by pre-screening travelers before they arrive in the UK. These measures reflect the UK's commitment to strengthening its immigration enforcement and addressing public concerns about border security. By implementing stricter visa regulations and introducing the ETA system, the government aims to regain control over national borders and ensure the integrity of the immigration system. Number 7. Australia. Australia has long been recognized for its stringent immigration policies, and in 2025, the government continues to uphold and reinforce these measures. A cornerstone of Australia's approach is the use of offshore processing centers, where asylum seekers arriving by boat are transferred to facilities in neighboring countries for the assessment of their claims. This policy is designed to deter illegal maritime arrivals and prevent human trafficking operations. Additionally, the government has intensified deportation efforts, particularly focusing on individuals with criminal records and those who fail to meet visa requirements. These actions underscore Australia's commitment to maintaining robust border security and ensuring the integrity of its immigration system. In a recent development, the Australian government has announced plans to reduce the number of international students as part of its migration crackdown. Starting next year, the number of incoming international students will be cut to 270,000, down from 402,600 in 2023. This move aims to control immigration and alleviate housing pressures in major cities. However, it has sparked concerns over potential revenue losses for the education sector and possible job cuts. These policies have sparked significant debate within Australia and attracted international attention. Proponents argue that stringent immigration controls are essential for safeguarding national security, managing population growth, and preserving social cohesion. They contend that such measures prevent illegal entries and ensure that migrants contribute positively to Australian society. Conversely, critics raise concerns about the humanitarian implications of these policies, particularly the offshore processing system, which has faced allegations of human rights abuses and inadequate living conditions. Human rights organizations and advocacy groups argue that Australia's approach may violate international obligations and fail to provide adequate protection for vulnerable individuals seeking asylum. Despite these criticisms, the Australian government remains steadfast in its commitment to stringent immigration policies, emphasizing the importance of border security and the rule of law in its approach to migration management. Number 8. Canada. Canada has long been celebrated for its welcoming stance toward immigrants and refugees, reflecting its commitment to multiculturalism and humanitarian values. However, in recent years, the country has faced challenges related to irregular migration, prompting the government to implement measures aimed at maintaining the integrity of its immigration system. In 2025, Canada has increased deportations of individuals without legal status, and those whose asylum claims have been rejected. This approach seeks to balance compassion with the enforcement of immigration laws, ensuring that the system remains fair and sustainable. The Canadian government has also introduced policies to streamline the asylum process, reducing backlogs and expediting decisions. This includes enhancing border security measures and increasing collaboration with international partners to address the root causes of irregular migration. By focusing on both preventive and responsive strategies, Canada aims to uphold its humanitarian commitments while addressing public concerns about security and resource allocation. These actions have sparked discussions within Canada about the balance between maintaining a compassionate immigration system and ensuring the effective enforcement of immigration laws. Advocates emphasize the importance of providing protection to those fleeing persecution, while critics argue for stricter controls to prevent abuse of the system. The Canadian government continues to navigate these complex issues, striving to uphold its values while responding to evolving migration dynamics. Number 9. Greece. As a primary entry point into Europe, Greece has long been at the forefront of managing significant migrant inflows. In 2025, the Greek government has intensified its efforts to address the challenges posed by high numbers of arrivals. A key component of this strategy involves accelerating deportations, particularly targeting individuals whose asylum applications have been denied. This policy aims to alleviate overcrowded conditions in refugee camps and manage the ongoing migration crisis more effectively. The government emphasizes that these measures are necessary to maintain order and ensure the sustainability of support systems for those in genuine need. However, this approach has not been without controversy. In a landmark ruling, the European Court of Human Rights found Greece guilty of illegally deporting a woman back to Turkey, highlighting concerns over the country's deportation practices. This decision has intensified debates within the European Union about the balance between enforcing immigration laws and upholding human rights. Despite these challenges, Greece continues to advocate for stricter immigration controls, aligning with broader EU initiatives to implement tougher migration measures in 2025. The situation underscores the complex dynamics Greece faces as it strives to manage migration effectively while adhering to international legal standards. The government's policies reflect a delicate balancing act between addressing domestic concerns over security and social cohesion and fulfilling its humanitarian obligations. As the EU moves towards more stringent migration policies, Greece's experiences and actions will likely play a pivotal role in shaping the future of migration management within the bloc. Number 10. Hungary. Hungary has consistently maintained a hardline stance on immigration, emphasizing the preservation of national security and sovereignty. In recent years, the government has implemented strict border controls, including the construction of border fences to deter unauthorized entries. Additionally, laws have been enacted to expedite the removal of individuals without legal status, reflecting Hungary's commitment to swiftly addressing illegal immigration. These measures are part of a broader strategy to assert control over the country's borders and manage migration flows in a manner that aligns with national interests. In 2024, Hungary introduced significant changes to its immigration system, including the end of the single permit and the introduction of multiple new permit types, such as the guest worker permit. These reforms are likely to make it harder for employers to source and retain low-skilled workers, while providing new pathways for sourcing highly skilled talent, especially in the engineering or information and technology sectors. These policies have sparked significant debate within Hungary and across the European Union. Proponents argue that stringent immigration controls are essential for safeguarding national security, managing population growth, and preserving social cohesion. Conversely, critics raise concerns about the humanitarian implications of these policies, particularly the potential for human rights violations and the erosion of asylum seekers' rights. As Hungary continues to implement its hardline immigration policies, it remains a focal point in the broader European discourse on balancing national interests with humanitarian obligations. As we've explored, countries around the world are grappling with the complex challenges of immigration, each adopting policies that reflect their unique political climates, security concerns, and societal values. From the United States' intensified border enforcement to Hungary's stringent immigration laws, these measures underscore a global trend towards stricter immigration controls. While aimed at addressing issues such as illegal entry and national security, these policies also raise important questions about human rights and international obligations. As the global community continues to navigate these challenges, it remains crucial to find a balance that ensures both the security of nations and the dignity and rights of individuals seeking a better life.